So exactly a week ago from today, the 2019-20 NBA season got underway. Here are 7 things that we have noticed through the opening week of the NBA season. It's actually finally great to have some NBA basketball again. It's not the preseason, it's not the Summer League, it's not the FIBA World Cup. These are real NBA games that actually matter and they count towards the standings, and players' stats count towards their MVP race, their All-Star race, their Rookie of the Year race. It's finally good to be back, and now I'm back with some more videos for you guys. So if you enjoy these types of videos, be sure to smash that like button. Let's see if we can reach 1,000 likes for the next video. If you're new around here and you enjoy NBA content, be sure to hit that subscribe button, follow me on Instagram, and hit the notification button so you never miss an upload. And before we get started, you may notice a little bit of a Dom 2K vibe in this video. And obviously I love Dom, I love his work, he's a great guy, great YouTuber. I'm actually just trying out this style to see if it affects copyright or not. Most of your favorite NBA YouTubers are affected by NBA copyright laws. It's not in any way am I trying to steal Dom 2K's vibe and the way he makes his videos. I'm just testing this out to see how it affects copyright. So with that said, I hope you guys understand and enjoy the video, and shout out to Dom 2K. With that said, here is number 7. So we're going to start from the opening day, the first day of the 2019 NBA season. In day 1, Pascal Siakam looked absolutely insane. He looked like a man on a mission, and this was the type of game that we needed to see from him and the Toronto Raptors. They are the reigning NBA champions. Whether we believe that they'll be a good team this season or not, still, they are the reigning NBA champions, and in the opening night, they played like it. Even though they played the Pelicans, who, let's be honest, without Zion Williamson, they are still a mediocre team because Drew Holiday is obviously an all-star caliber player, but the rest of the team is basically just very, very young talent. But Pascal Siakam showed that he can take that next step, he can be an all-star player, and that's exactly what we wanted to see from the start of the 2019 NBA season. We saw the Lakers vs Clippers matchup, which the Lakers absolutely abused the post game with Anthony Davis. It was the first real game that we saw with LeBron and Davis, and they weren't able to get it done. They lost the opening game of the season to the Clippers without Paul George, and even though it was just the opening game of the season, you can tell that the Clippers are on a mission this season, and the Lakers still needed to fix some chemistry issues that they had. LeBron didn't really do a whole lot in the final minutes of the game, and Anthony Davis kind of struggled to find his form alongside the rest of the team. So it really showed me that the Clippers, even without Paul George, are insane, and the Lakers still need to tweak and fix some of their chemistry problems. But those were 2 things that we learned from day 1. In day 2, we saw the Luka Doncic vs Bradley Beal battle. They were going back and forth, and if you didn't really watch the game, you would have thought that the Wizards vs the Dallas Mavericks wouldn't be the most entertaining game, but watching Luka and KP go to work, and then the battle of Bradley Beal and Luka Doncic, and it wasn't even the battle on the court, it was the trash talk and the going back and forth. That was really, really fun to watch. Bradley Beal ended up getting ejected. They were playing hard and dirty, but in the end, Luka had the last laugh. Then for the Miami Heat, we saw the first emergence of Kendrick Nunn. Now the Miami Heat lost Jimmy Butler, who missed the opening 2 games, but Kendrick Nunn, out of all people, stepped up. And he actually seems like a guy that could really take that Rookie of the Year on his shoulders. He's going to be the starting point guard for the Miami Heat, and he has started off this season insanely well. I might actually make a separate video for Kendrick Nunn, but that was the first time we saw Kendrick Nunn go to work. Then we saw the Kyrie Irving first game for the Brooklyn Nets, hit 50 points and almost hit the game winner with a crazy, I don't even know what it was. He kind of slipped, kind of got up, tried to do a fadeaway. It was just out, but 50 points for the opening night for the Brooklyn Nets really showed that Kyrie, he may be the star and the all-star player that we saw in the Cavaliers, where he was an NBA champion. Obviously, his time in the Celtics didn't really go to plan, but now on a new team, he looks very, very good and like an MVP point guard again. Gordon Hayward, all-star again? Question mark. After his first game back with the Boston Celtics, and I saw him drop 25 points, I was like, man, Gordon Hayward, he might be an all-star player again, because at one point in time, before that horrific injury, he was an all-star player. He was the guy for the Utah Jazz. but as we all know, he hasn't really picked it up. But you never know. It takes time for players to get off a serious injury like he had. We saw Paul George take some time. It does sometimes take a little bit of time. But do you think if Gordon Hayward starts getting better and better, could he be an all-star again? He is in the Eastern Conference. At this point, I'm going to say no. But after that 25-point performance in the first game, it really got my hopes up. Day 3 saw the emergence of Trae Young, the man that was just out of the Rookie of the Year winnings in last year's race, losing to Luka Doncic. It was definitely close. I think they made the right choice in selecting Luka, but Trae Young, to start his second season in the league, has absolutely been lighting it on fire. And the first time we saw him, he dropped 38 points. I believe he could really be the next great point guard, especially in the Eastern Conference. Then we saw the first game with Russ and Harden. It didn't really work out, to be honest. The Russ and Harden combination was, well, in that game, it was pretty bad. Russ played really well, especially to close out the game, but Harden was absolutely shocking. He couldn't find his shot, his selections were horrible, and that was the first instance that we saw of the Houston Rockets with Russell Westbrook and James Harden. The Warriors in their first game as well looked unbelievably bad. Stephen Curry was not really himself. Draymond Green got injured. It was just horrendous from the Warriors, and they may not make the playoffs this year. If they continued to play like how they played in that first opening game and even the second game, it's going to be hard to watch this season. Day 4 showed Karl-Anthony Towns go to work. He dropped 37 points, had 15 rebounds and 8 assists to average 36 for the season so far. Pascal also is averaging 34 points and he played very, very well in Day 4 of the NBA season. Kyrie Irving was too clutch hitting that step back jumper, and Whiteside actually looked rejuvenated on the Portland Trail Blazers. In day number 5, remember how I said Russell Westbrook and James Harden really didn't click? Well, they turned it around. Russell Westbrook put up 28 points with a triple-double, and James Harden dropped 29. A low-key surpriser was Brandon Ingram. Playing for the Pelicans, he dropped 25 points on 50% shooting and is actually averaging 27 points to start out over the first 4 games of this season. And he's been a very, very solid player for the New Orleans Pelicans, who needed a guy like Brandon Ingram to step up. And if he can play like this alongside when Zion Williamson gets back, it actually might lead them to a few wins. Unfortunately, they haven't won a game yet, but if Zion can get back with a healthy Brandon Ingram, it's going to be scary to watch. We then saw the Phoenix Suns, out of all teams, go out there and beat the Clippers, who looked unstoppable. I mean, they had a very good game against the Lakers, who were meant to be top 3 in the West, and challenged the Clippers, but the Clippers won pretty comfortably, and then they dominated the Golden State Warriors. So for them to lose to the Phoenix Suns, it was pretty surprising, but shout out to Phoenix. Although the New York Knicks haven't had the best start to the season, RJ Barrett, obviously drafted 3rd overall, has really impressed me. He's actually playing a lot better than most of the other rookies in the league. He dropped 26 points in a loss to the Boston Celtics, but good news for the New York Knicks, as it seems like they have a very good rookie on their hands. Kendrick Nunn once again surprised everybody, still an undrafted rookie, helping the Heat to beat the Bucks with Giannis. And even though Giannis got fouled out towards the end of the game, he was still the Giannis that was the MVP Giannis. So for the Heat to get the win without Jimmy Butler, to go 2-0 at that point, especially off Kendrick Nunn, who is really playing well as a rookie, and he's been the biggest surprise in my opinion. Trae Young once again is lighting teams on fire. He dropped another 39 points to lead his team, and could Trae Young potentially be the best point guard in the Eastern Conference? Now, I'm not necessarily saying right now, because you do have Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Ben Simmons, but in the future, next year, 2 years, 3 years from now, I could definitely see Trae Young being the best point guard in the Eastern Conference and the entire NBA. The way that he's playing right now, it gives me the utmost confidence. Day number 6 saw Jay Crowder hit a game winner, the first one of the 2019 NBA season, but it was really Ja Morant who stole the show with 30 points against Kyrie Irving to lead his team to victory. Dwight Howard showed out for the Lakers and was actually giving the Lakers fans a show. And in my opinion, I think he was really egging the Lakers fans on as a way to market himself as a likable player once again, the way he used to be likable, because we all know that Howard got the bad raps when he left LA and obviously when he left Orlando, and since then he hasn't really got the recognition of being a solid NBA player. He's had a little bit of injury, but now that he's back in LA, he's actually performing. Hopefully the Lakers fans are realizing that, okay, maybe the first stint with Dwight on the Lakers wasn't good, but let's respect what he is now, because he actually has been playing very well. And that game that he had for the Lakers, that was pretty fun to watch too. In day 7, the final day of the opening week of the 2019-20 NBA season, Brandon Ingram, once again, another 27 points, but in the end, the Warriors were too good and they win their first game for the season. Russell Westbrook versus the Oklahoma City Thunder for the first time in his career. He actually played very, very well. James Harden picked it up, and that combination is looking scary. But one of the other surprises this season has been Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Especially for a guy in his second season, he's really playing very well. And I think the OKC Thunder remind me of the Clippers of last season in a way. So they might be pretty exciting to watch. If you're not really a fan of Oklahoma, you should actually sit down, watch a game, because even though they don't have an all-star caliber player, they're pretty exciting to watch. And we all know how Derrick Rose has played to start out this year. I wanted to let this one sit until right at the end, because if you made it to the Derrick Rose bit, you know it's coming. He ended up hitting the game winner in the last day of the opening week, but throughout his first couple of games for the Detroit Pistons, Derrick Rose has been playing very, very well off the bench. He's playing very well, and I'm glad to see it. With that said, let me know what you thought about the opening week of the NBA season. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification button, and follow me on Instagram to stay up to date to what I get up to. With that said, it's been your boy Nick Smith. I am out. Peace.
Send me your location, let's focus on communication, 'cause I just need